And welcome back, everyone, to the Bulldog Blitz football radio show presented by Two Hats Ranch. Rob Bentley and Sandy Golston with you, joined by the head coach of the Ferris State Bulldogs, Tony Annese. And, Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I know it's got to be feeling good to come back in here this week after a big win, and I'm sure the feeling a little bit better than maybe it was a week ago.
Yeah, heading to Pittsburgh, Kansas was, it was a challenging trip, and obviously we didn't perform to our standards. So, after the game, I actually told the guys, I said, I really believe in this team. I think this team's got the capability of being, a good team. Obviously expectations as they are, it's around here. It's national championship or bust now after winning back to back there in 21 and 22. So, I wanted them to know I believed in them, and I still do. And then coming back home and playing in front of a great crowd, and performing, really well against Lake Erie was exactly what the doctor ordered.
Maybe talk about the offensive execution and just how much improved that was from week 0 to week 1.
Yeah, we made so many mistakes in week 0 in regards to, just not taking care of the ball. And when we did make big plays, we had penalties. And so it was just like, the worst of all circumstances in the first game. And then, excuse me, but in the Lake Erie game, we had our first 7 possessions we scored touchdowns on. So, that makes you feel well.
I know here in the coaching business, it seems like you get a win, you enjoy it for a little bit, but right back to work. Maybe what's been the mindset of the guys going right back to the practice field this week?
Yeah, actually, we've been raring to go. This team's really been they've been focused. I really like their attitude. They don't make excuses. When we lost, they didn't make excuses. They just went back out and went to work. And we've had some key injuries, and nobody's making excuses about that. The guys just expect us to perform at a high level. And so I appreciate their attitude, and I think they'll be ready for Ashland.
Yeah, and going back to post-Pitt State, what was the mentality of your guys? Because it was almost like they really wanted to get back into the lab. They wanted to get back into practice, and they wanted to get going. And then it looked like they were really, really ready to get back out on the field against Lake Erie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, nobody panicked. A lot of times, like particularly as much success as we've had, a loss can be, is it fatal? And no, it's not fatal. I really took it as an approach. I told Rob this too. I said, listen, we got 10 games now. Like previous to the Lake Erie game, we had 10 games, and that's what we've had since, I guess, 2018, in the regular season. So, I didn't think about it this way, but okay, we just had a preseason game, and so hopefully that makes us stronger. I think our guys just knew we had more in us. The defensive side of the ball against Pitt State was like very gritty, very, very determined. So I was excited to see how some of our newcomers played, and I thought they were really tough. And so I knew if we could just get our rhythm on offense, and we've got the talent to do well on both sides of the ball. So I just felt good that, we would redeem ourselves, and we did.
And actually a pretty good segue, because I was going to ask you about the defense. We had Coach Hodges in here, Cephas Saipia, he was in here as well. And they were talking about that, yeah, good defense, but there's always things to learn. There's always things to improve on. There's always things to get better. And it seems like that's a characteristic of your program from top to bottom, that even when we have a good performance, there are always things that we can do better. And we set our own standard.
Yeah, that's the standard. Yeah, it's constant improvement. It's evaluate based upon our standards, not whether we won or lost. I actually, after we beat Lake Erie and we were watching the Sunday film, I said, guys, just know this. Like, I'm not trying to be overly critical, but we don't measure based upon W or L. We measure based upon execution and performance, and so we had a leadership group all all off season, we had different speakers come in, and Jason Vanderlaan came into the IRC auditorium, and he said, I sat right here at every meeting, and every single time that guy ripped me. And he says, it didn't matter if we won by 50, he was still on me. And he says, I won a Harlan Hill trophy, and he still wouldn't even name me the starting quarterback the next year. He said, Trevor might beat you out, and so, it's just the way we are. And, it was a good lesson from, the best that's probably ever been here at Ferris State and, Jason. But, I think our guys are kind of have that ingrained in their head that, it's never good enough. We're just constantly striving for more.
Yeah. And actually, you made me go in a different direction than what I was going to ask you. I was going to start looking ahead to next week. But, you mentioned the great Jason Vanderlaan coming back, and I was at a practice. You had Landon Grove back here. Talk about those alums that remain connected with the program and like coming back and sharing their experiences at Ferris State and then the experiences that Ferris State helped set them up for.
Yeah, it's incredible. Just last Friday, I went and watched Granville and Davison play because we got a commit from one of those schools. And so, John Higgins, Austin Simpson, Casey Zinner, they're all on the Granville staff. And so then I see them before the game and give them a hug. And then as I'm watching the game, Jake Doherty and Torrey Day are there. So I'm with them the whole second half. And so I just was watching film with the team an hour ago, and Liam Daly called me, and I said, hey, what's up, Liam? And he's like, what are you doing? I said, watching film with the team. He goes, well, you don't have to answer. I said, no, if you need something, I got to be there for you. But yeah, it's just an unbelievable, really unbelievable culture. Hunter Thompson was at that same game. He's at Hope College, and so it goes on and on. Doherty was going to go with Kyle Thompson to watch the Calvin game on Saturday because Kyle's brother-in-law plays for Calvin. So it's just amazing, just all the connections these guys have. It's really life-altering. It's life-altering for me to know that those guys are so loyal to Ferris, but it's life-altering for them to have such a great group of men that still are so connected and support one another.
Coach, as we get ready for this week's game, maybe talk about the matchup against Ashland, obviously a team that's really played you guys well here over the years.
Yeah, after you said that on the TV, and I said, dang, Rob always says that. I got to go back and check. But yeah, they've been tough. Last year we were down at halftime. At one time I'm like, we finally closed it to 3, and they drove down the field on a 99-yard drive to go back to 10. So they were up 10 with like 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. So as I was watching the complete game, I got a little bit of, stress. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we going to win this? And my wife's like, geez, what's wrong with you? You won the game. I said, yeah, I'm still watching. I'm, stressed out. We had, I think we had 19 penalties for like 195 yards. Every other play, the ball was in the air. They'd call interference on us. And we made a lot of mistakes. We had a punt that we basically screwed up, punted off our shield. They recovered it in the end zone. And what's ironic is Chase Ford scored the first touchdown for them. Des Libertis had 2 touchdowns. They both played for us. Both were on our team when we won the national championships in 21 and 22. And so it's like, oh my gosh, is everything going to go against us? And the former Ferris guys are going to.
We don't have any more guys there.
Yeah, right. So that was very stressful. And, they're super young men. So it's not that because they were with Ashland that I think, oh, they're the enemy. But, I gave them a hug after the game and said, man, great game. But we fought through. We were resilient. And we fought through some hard times. And it's a tough road game, It's a tough road game. And unfortunately, it was a road game for 3 straight competitions. It wasn't 3 straight years because we didn't play them in 22, but it was a road game 3 straight times, and so they get to come to us. And I was talking to my staff the other day. I said, I bet you they have 0 guys on their team that ever been to Ferris State to play football. Think about it. We haven't played them since 18.
Yeah.
It's 24 now. Maybe they have 1 or 2, but not many. And so that's crazy to think about.
Finally here, final question, just playing Ashland. What's it mean to be able to play another quality program and fill another hole, obviously, on the schedule and kind of keep this rivalry going?
Yeah, it's actually over after this year. They haven't renewed anything with us, but I appreciate the fact that they, were willing to play us for a long time. When I took the job and my first season was 2012, and we played Ashland, I'm like, holy crap. I mean, they were a super team, undefeated, and they gave us troubles. They beat us in 12. They beat us in 16 in a game that was, it's a very memorable game for us, even though we went to the semis that year. And then they beat us in 17. So they beat us back to back in 16 and 17. And they've been, they've been really good defensive squad. So hopefully we execute well, but they're gritty. They're a tough ball club for sure.
Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate you being here on the Bulldog Blitz football radio show, and best of luck on Saturday night.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.